Downtown Decatur, it's the Faber Files. Hello, I'm your host, Bill Faber. Because democracy demands debate, we present this program of local issues and interests. Tonight, we have the two candidates for the upcoming Decatur City Council race, Chuck Kuhle and Marty Watkins. This will be a chance for us to meet them personally and hear why they're running and what their plans are for our city. The most effective government that we have these days is our local government, and these guys can make a difference. Welcome, Marty and Chuck.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill, for having us.
Great to see you guys. You know, the first question that folks ask us, because it's so hard to get involved in politics, what prompts you and makes you get involved with being a candidate for Decatur City Council, Marty?
Well, Bill, I've heard it been said for many times that if you were not satisfied with the way things were going in your community, then you don't complain, but then you put your name on the ballot. So that's what I chose to do. Instead of complaining, I put my name on the ballot so I can not be part of the problem, but part of the solution. But also wanting to take part in helping set the vision and the direction for the city of Decatur, to also be able to help implement some of the rules that guide our everyday life, living in Decatur, and also want to be involved in the capital financing and strategic planning of the city of Decatur.
Chuck, and how about you? You're an awfully busy guy running the tennis program throughout the city of Decatur and Macon County.
Yeah, well, the main reason I'm running is to give back. I've lived here my whole life, Bill, and I think Decatur has a lot to offer. I know we have a few issues here and there, but I've prospered in this town. My wife, my children have prospered here, and I just want to bring that to the city council. I really don't have any bones to pick with the current city council. I'm not upset about anything. Sure, there might be a few things here and there maybe I would have thought of differently, but mainly it's just to give back to the community.
Right. On your agenda, I guess your brochure for candidacy, you talk about working closely with economic groups to facilitate job growth.
Right.
I mean, jobs are so important in our country and in our town. Yeah. What's your thoughts there, Chuck?
It's the #1 issue, really, because we've had a decrease in population, and if we can just get more people to live in this city, that's going to solve a lot of the problems we have, and we just need to speak more highly about Decatur. It's a great place to live. I've been to a lot of the major cities in this country, and I like going there, but I like living here. And we don't need to apologize for living here, and we need to sell ourselves better. As far as working with these economic development groups, absolutely. I want to do whatever I can to help them. If I could bring Boeing to Decatur by myself and bring 2,000 jobs, I'd do it.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm not sure one person can do that, and I want to do whatever I can to help these entities in town do that.
One of the things that you do for economic growth in our community is your professional tennis tournament here in the summer in Decatur. You bring a bunch of people to our community and really get things going.
Right. Well, it's just something that I try to do to give back to the city. We have a great golf tournament as well, and I always had wanted to do something like that for tennis, and now it's 18 years later and I've done it, and it's a great little tournament, a lot of fun to run, and I enjoy doing it.
Yeah. Marty, you've got an interest in jobs too. You're a minister at the Church of the Living God, and you want to promote summer jobs for kids in our town.
Yes, that's true, Bill. Also, as Chuck, myself also, I am a native of Decatur, born and raised here, and Decatur, once again, it is a great community to live in, and I look forward to working with Chuck on the city council, where we can work together to help improve the lives of the citizens in the city of Decatur. Once again, the goals is to try to make Decatur a pleasing place to live. We want to make sure that everyone across the board have their voices heard. The youth program that I'm looking at is we want to get our youth job readiness, get them prepared for the workforce, and a good way to do that is by creating summer job. I remember my first summer job through the JTPA was I painted the floors of Webster Cantor Hall. So light industrial work for the young people, again, it would give them some motivation, and it would also help them become an asset to our community rather than a liability, and give them something to look forward to.
In terms of your life experience, you're an Army veteran.
That is correct, yes.
You also, do I understand you kind of instructed kids in karate or martial arts a little bit?
Yes, I have a list of things. First of all, I served in the Decatur as a Weeblo Cub Scout. Then I went on to serve as a Macon County Sheriff's Cadet, which was like Explorer program. Then I went on to the United States Army. After I came back out of the military, I went on as a Macon County Auxiliary Deputy. From there as a correctional officer, a substitute teacher, and worked in the community. These things have, these accomplishments, they have taught me good organizational skills, how to be a leader, as well as how to follow leadership. So I've given many years of service to the community.
Right. And Chuck, you've had a special emphasis on kids and teaching them the tennis program and working with a lot of our youth in our community.
Yeah, I work with more kids than I do adults, really.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of junior tennis players. I've done that for 35 years, and I really enjoy it. We've had a lot of success with all levels of players. I continue to do that. It's just fun. It makes you young, I think, if you hang around the kids more. I think what that all brings to the city council is I'm able to work with people pretty easily. I think I can compromise pretty well with people, my job at our club.
Yeah.
So I think that's an asset.
Well, it takes special skills and a special person to work with the youth. Not just everyone can work with our young people.
Yeah, it can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I'm sure he knows.
Oh, yes.
So you just, you do the best
Yeah.
you can, and but the kids are always listening. They may not pretend
Right.
they are, but they're listening, and they eventually. What's rewarding is when they come back later on. They're 35, 40. I still remember what you said and that type of thing. So that's
very
rewarding.
Yeah. One of the things I do notice about our local government, though, is that there really is no voice for the young people, the youth, the high school kids or the college kids, and it would really be nice to effectively draw them into the conversation in some way or form.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree. It'd be nice to get. It's usually seems like the older people are the ones that are coming. It'd be nice to have more youth in there.
Right.
One of the things on my platform here is I'd like to expand our health and fitness opportunities indicator, if the budget would allow, specifically bike lanes. I'd like to see more bike lanes in town if it's feasible. I'd like to get some people together and see if we could do that. I see it in other cities.
Sure.
And if we want a vibrant city, I think there's nothing more vibrant than seeing people running and biking around town more.
Absolutely. The bike trails through Fairview Park and through Rock Springs have been extraordinarily, unexpectedly popular in our community.
Yeah, for sure. And I'd like to expand that, not just bike paths, but maybe bike lanes on the roads, as long as it's safe. Obviously, nobody wants to get hurt, but it'd be nice to be able to expand that.
Well, we kind of missed an opportunity here when we refurbished downtown and Water Street and Franklin Street. We've got those lanes, and there was no thought about bicycle lanes. So we got to bring it back.
I'd like to at least look at that as one option. So.
Also, Chuck, on your bullet points, you wanted to emphasize development of Lake Decatur or keep an eye on Lake Decatur.
Right, well, I think there's two parts to Lake Decatur. There's the development around there, which is going on. It's going really well, and I support what's going on around there. And then there's the actual lake itself, where we've got the dredging, which is critical, because if you're not taking care of that lake, you have to, because you've got these businesses in town relying on that water. So I think there's two aspects to that, and I think as a city council member, we all need to keep a close eye on that, because that will stabilize our community.
Sure. Let's talk about what everyone hates, and that's taxes. So, Marty, what's your view on revenue for the city of Decatur that's declining in population, declining in revenue, but yet has all this infrastructure that must be maintained? What's the answer?
Well, one of the things we need to do is take a look at how or if we can reduce the percentage that we pay. Also, maybe offer higher residential exemptions for the residents of Decatur, and that could alleviate some of the property tax problems that we're facing.
Chuck,
Yeah.
what's your solution?
It's a tough question. It's a tough question. I'd like to try to hold the line on taxes as best I can. We've got a problem because people are, moving out of town, and we need to move people in town. I think that's where we have to concentrate, Bill. I mean, I don't know. I have to get in there and see if there's anywhere to cut. I would assume that everybody's already looked at all that, and you've been cut where you can cut. And I think the answer is to really concentrate on economic development so you can get more people living here, so home values rise, and then there's more taxes coming in that way. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I think it all revolves around trying to get more people to move into this town. And part of the problem is too the state. The state's making it difficult. More people are leaving Illinois than are moving in, and that's a challenge too. And you probably can answer that question more than I as a city council member. What influence do we have on the state government? I'm not sure how much there is,
Sure.
but maybe you would be able to answer that question more than I.
Well, I guess the other part of the revenue question is services. If you don't have the revenue, services have to be cut.
Right.
So if you were faced with a cut in services, did you have any thoughts or ideas where that might happen, if at all?
Well, the only thing I can think of that I don't want to cut back is on the police and fire. If you don't have that, you have nothing,
Right.
So I don't see how you can cut back on that. I'd have to get in there, Bill, and look.
Yeah.
Coming into this, I can't claim to know everything there is about city government,
Sure.
but I can tell you that I run my life. I try to stay away from debt. I pay my bills, and that's how I would come in with that mindset into the city.
Sure.
So I just have to make sure that we're not overspending.
Sure.
So,
What are your thoughts on the services? Marty?
I agree with Chuck, and we think alike, and I appreciate that. Again, we need to look at ways to bringing businesses inside the city of Decatur. The more businesses that we bring into the city of Decatur, that's number one, more work for the people. And number two, that can also give us a tax relief. Again, like Chuck stated, if we have to do cuts, we definitely want to not do anything to harm our law enforcement agency or our fire protection district. But what we can do is look at cost-effective ways. If we're taking on projects, one of the things we don't want to do is take on $1 million project, and 5 years down the road, we've paid this guy $10 million, $20 million to do a project, and now we have to repay to get that project redone because of some oversights that were not looked at. So we want to make sure that when we invest in something, that we make sure that we're protected, where we're not coming back and paying double for what we've already paid for. That can be cost effective down the road. A prime example is one of the high schools we have here. They're now finding problems that were done during the construction, some oversights, and it's now coming back on us.
Sure.
So we, as city council, members, it's our duty, it's our job to make sure that we look out for the best interest of the taxpayers' dollars.
Sure, sure. Our school district, District 61, is so important to the community,
Yes.
and yet it's not really a responsibility technically of the city council. But would you guys have, if I could start with you, Chuck, if you would have any view of an interplay or a cooperative effort between the city and the school district to improve or help the school district?
possibly. Are you familiar with the Kalamazoo Promise? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you would ever get something like that started in
You want to
town.
explain that?
Yeah, to the best of my ability. I'm not an expert on it, but from my understanding, it's privately funded. And if you enter a public school, say first grade, and go all the way through the 12th grade, you get your tuition paid for at any state university that they have on their list. It doesn't really list who donates to that, so I'm assuming it's privately funded, but what it's done is it'll keep people in the city and in those schools. And it's actually been a draw because people know if their kids go through the whole public school system, then they're going to get their tuition paid. Now, obviously, where's that money coming from? Well, to me, the way it reads is it's privately funded. So how you get that done, I don't know. But if there's somebody out there or businesses that could contribute to that, that'd be awesome for our city.
Sure. It's sponsored by the city, but the funds come from private sources.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
What do you think about that, Mark?
As a city councilman, I think it would be very important that we do work with the other intergovernmental bodies, the school board, Decatur Township. We should work collaboratively with them, again, for the best interest of the community. One of the things I would like to see is that we offer some kind of incentives to those who graduate from Milliken, that they would reinvest in our community. I mean, you go to school for 4 years here, then you land a job and you're gone elsewhere. Well, we need to offer them something that they would stay here and give something back to this community, whether it be 2 years or 5 years.
Yeah.
But, you know, give something back.
Sure. Marty, one of the ideas that our city manager, Mr. Gleason, has is to, with regard to the police, is to offer them maybe a housing, low-cost housing in communities as kind of a perk or an incentive or an addition to the patrolman's salary to kind of stabilize the neighborhood. What do you think about Mr. Gleason's idea?
I think that's a real good idea. I remember Sheriff Ray Rex as a child. One of the things that I remember is that wherever Ray Rex saw the children, he would always stop and give us candy. I remember when there was a time we had one officer, I can't think of his name, but he would walk to work. You would see him every morning walking to the City of Decatur police station. I think that would be a very good idea, that we have officers in our neighborhood who resides in our neighborhood, and that could deter a lot of crime, a lot of violence, and then the residents will feel a little bit better protected knowing that we have an officer in our neighborhood.
Yeah. What do you think, Chuck?
Well, it sounds like a good program. I'd have to learn more about it.
Sure.
To give you an official answer if I like it or not, because
Yeah.
it's the first I've heard of that
Okay.
one. But it sounds good.
Yeah.
I just have to see, I'd have to think it through more, honestly, Bill.
You know, in my neighborhood, former Master Sergeant Shad Edwards, who just
Yeah.
retired,
Yeah.
he's in our neighborhood, his
Yes.
patrol car, and we're all asking him to park his car in front of our home when we're on vacation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good idea.
So it kind of
Yeah.
permeates the neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I must say, if I could, that I have 2 officers who live in my neighborhood as well, along with the state's attorney. So I feel very comfortable in my neighborhood.
Well, maybe I'll move over there.
Makes a difference.
Yes,
Yeah.
it makes a difference.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Chuck, are there any other ideas or platform suggestions that you want to explain to the people as we wrap up our program?
Not really. I would just say, again, why I'm running is I'm just trying to give back. And I want to be a positive influence on the city. That's why I'm running. There's a few seats open, and I think, again, I've done a few things for the city in my own profession, and I run my life hopefully fiscally responsible, and that's how I would like to run the city council as well. I don't have the answers for every question right now. I think there's so much to learn on the city council, but I think I got a good head on my shoulders, and I think I'd be a good representative of the city.
Sure. What do you think, Marty?
Well, I just wanted to share with you and the audience that in 2000 I relocated to Peoria, Illinois. And while I was there, I sat on several boards up there. Matter of fact, I owned my own business. I owned a limousine business there in Peoria. And one thing that I do understand is that we must be business-minded who sits on the city council. And so I'm here to be an asset to the community and not a liability, to listen to the people's concerns and try to move the city of Decatur, see its vision and move it in a positive direction. And if anyone wants to contact me, you may do so at 309-643-0779. And my email is m.watkins@yahoo.com.
Marty, what would you say to folks who are watching and maybe on the verge of saying, you know, maybe I should get in politics or not, but it's such a dirty game and you take so many hits and I'm really afraid. What would you say to those people who are kind of afraid to to participate in our local democracy?
What I would offer is that, first of all, whatever you do, don't have a hidden motive. You can't be concerned about who like you and who don't like you. I mean, it's important, but if you have the right motivation and your motives are right, then you do what's on your heart. And I believe if people get a chance to connect with you and get around you, they'll see that you have the right intentions.
Yeah. What do you think,
Well,
Chuck?
I agree with him. You know, I was on the county board for 10 years, and you don't, not every issue is black and white.
Right.
You know, there's gray areas to every issue, and you have to just make the best decision. And I think it's just a way of giving back. I did not serve in the military, okay? So this is kind of a way for me to give back a little bit. I mean, it would be easy for me just to sit home, do my job,
Sure.
and do fun things on weekends and
Yeah.
everything, but I do feel an obligation, and I feel everybody has an obligation to give back to their community in one way, shape, or form. You mentioned I run that pro tournament. That's one way I give back, but you know, if you're a stamp collector, maybe you bring a stamp show to Decatur. Or this is a way to give back also, is running for political office. And if I win, it's great. If
Sure.
not, I'm still going to support the city. So
Yeah, yeah. You know, our outgoing president just recently gave a farewell address, and one of the things that he said was that democracy withers with neglect.
yeah,
And what I have seen on the council is that we can get so much done. 4 votes.
right.
And you've changed the course of a town or a program or people's lives. So
Yeah.
it really is a potent place to exercise your civil rights.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
It's all about change.
It's all about change.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Well, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for appearing on our show. And I know that people are really excited about learning more about you, seeing and learning your positions, and having the courage to step forward and help lead the community. So thanks, Chuck Kuhle, Marty Watkins, and good luck to you in your campaign.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot,
Bill.
Bill, for having us on.
Thank
So.
you.